Welcome to the Dumbfounded Dipshits podcast. We are the Dumbfounded Dipshits. I'm currently waiting for Ryan to join us. He should be here any minute. If you're new here, please like and subscribe. And yeah, all that nonsense. How is everyone doing on this lovely evening? I hope it didn't rain too hard where you live and you didn't get soaked during the day like I did. Rain gear is a lovely thing. Ugh, my stomach is killing me. Let's see. Wow. Why would I not be logged in? What's going on here? Where is it? Weird.
Yo, nice. Sober October for me though.
Really?
Yeah. Wait, why aren't you on? Hold on 1 second. Shit.
You're doing Sober October? That's so lame.
Yeah. Well, I'll explain. What? We're not on the air, are we?
Yes, we are.
Oh, we are.
Yes, we are.
All right. Hold on a second.
Copy.
Give me 1 second. Let me just. Damn, I don't know why this isn't connected. Oh, why? Oh,
God, what I just do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, good to go. All right, give me 1 second there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What's up, everybody? What's up, dipshit? Sorry. I literally just like burnt rubber right into my fucking community, like into my fucking driveway to make this. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing Sober October, so you can see how fucking wired I am right now. Diet
Is that
Coke's
an
on my
energy
phone.
drink? Oh, wow. Wow. He goes from whiskey to Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I'm not doing Sober October, so excuse me.
No, you don't have to do Sober October. I'm not doing it.
I know I don't have to.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me permission.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
kidding.
little update. I'm going in for surgery on Monday. So.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know
there's
that.
They're
Yeah.
going to be reconnecting my bicep tendon to my forearm.
Did they feel like it'll be an easy job?
Well, the lady I spoke to, the surgeon, she's young, she's spry and pretty pumped to do the surgery. She says we don't see these often, but I've done these more than a few times. So she's like specifically does hand surgeries, like from the elbow to the to the tip of the finger. So because the bicep connects to the forearm, she's got to sort of weave it underneath the other muscle that's between the two bicep
So
muscles.
why don't you find out if she can do like a little extra for you, like make you a little, you know, extra.
Stronger. I'm
Yes.
hoping. I said I was like I want to be the $6 million man. I'm like let's like, build me stronger, faster. You know what I mean?
How's it go again?
Like
We can repair him. We
we
have the
can rebuild
technology.
him.
We
We
have the
have the technology. We
technology.
can rebuild him.
It's such a bad friggin' show.
The thing is, that show was already off the air by the time I was a kid and in reruns. But when I was a kid, what was on the air was Bionic Woman, which was a spinoff of the $6 Million Man. And she was the same thing. She was just a woman who had like bionic legs and arms, and she could like jump real high and run real fast. Pretty much like, cyborg kind of shit. Like Jax from Mortal Kombat.
So, the name of the episode is Dahmer's Pot Pie. Would you go to Jeffrey Dahmer's dinner party?
Listen, okay, now aside from that, have you watched the Netflix show?
I watched one episode, well, not even a whole episode, maybe half an episode. And then my wife was like, "This is too much. Turn it off."
I finished it, and spoiler alert: there is a
I was kidding. I was kidding. Okay.
there is a. Yo, she's throwing stars at you, bro. She's like,
No, it's a sticker for the. It's a my. I have.
I know, but the way
I
it
have a
came across the
fancy-
screen.
I have a fancy terp meter that tells you the temperature of your dabs,
Oh
and it came
wow!
with a sticker,
Science.
and she threw it at me. Well, yeah, because I
No,
have.
but that shit came like a ninja
I have
star.
a real rig. So
Fucking Sari's like Ninja Mom now.
Ninja Mom.
Just throwing stars. So, yeah, if you haven't watched it, you haven't completed it. I watched the whole.
Yeah, but I know the story
series.
of Jeffrey Dahmer. I know.
Yeah, from all the
everything.
docs and stuff.
Not
Yeah,
even- yeah, I
me
read
too.
books about him.
So me and my wife are sitting there. Me and Paul are sitting there, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna do this, and they do it. So I'm like
Yeah.
predicting the next scene because I've already been through this whole story already. So there is a part where he tries to serve a sandwich to his angry neighbor, right? But in real life, there was a neighbor that he was friendly with because he wasn't really at odds with everybody in the building. There was a few of the tenants who complained about him, but he was really friendly with most of the other people who said he was a nice guy, right?
Yeah, he blended in better than the show makes him seem.
He did give somebody a pork sandwich.
Pork.
Yes. And he's been on the record saying that if you cook it right, it tastes like filet mignon. You know what I mean? So he did feed people. So that's something that, would I mean, listen, if I didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and if I wasn't around at the time that apartment started stinking, because the thing is, I don't think it was like that the whole time he lived there. And they also dirtied up his apartment for the TV show, because if you look at the crime scene photos, his apartment didn't look that shitty.
No, it didn't.
But
it doesn't. It's more entertaining on television if you make it look like he was a,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Oh,
like,
your mic,
listen,
your mic is doing that again. Why? It was
I'll go
fine up
back.
until today. Not today.
I'll
Excuse me. It was
back.
fine up until then. That moment. Yes.
Fuck it, hold on. Let me go.
And he left us again. What's this? Oh, I have a software update on my Mac. I'm going to hit the stab. Cheers, everybody. Feel free to comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Always let us know, too, We come up with titles, but we don't always come up with subjects. Excuse me. Oof.
See. Better?
Yes.
Okay. Definitely loving the t-shirt, bro. I still have mine. I just got to dig it out. Derek Lewis is supposed to be fighting, I think, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Black
Derek
Beast
Lewis
will
is
be
the man,
unleashed.
but
I love him.
I
dude.
feel bad for him because he has like all these wins, then fucking falls
Decline.
down, and win, then
The thing is, like, he's like in waves. It's not like unlike Tony Ferguson, like taking a nosedive. You know what I mean, like that. But hopefully this next guy he takes swings at. Now it's like it seems like he's being used as a gatekeeper for the heavyweight division.
well, who is
You know
the
what I mean?
gatekeeper? There's so many gatekeepers in UFC.
Yeah. But who knows? Hopefully he beats up on this dude and we get to see him say some fucking funny shit because we always look forward to his post fights. You
The
know what I
balls
mean?
were hot.
My balls is hot. That was the best, dude. That was the best.
Bro, because he took off his shorts and Joe Rogan's like, what are you doing?
In
He's
his
like,
underwear.
My balls were hot.
Balls is hot. Yeah. But yeah, the Dahmer thing was pretty sick. I mean, really, like, there's all this outrage about how it seems like they're romanticizing serial killers. Listen, people have been romanticizing monsters for years. You wouldn't have watched Dracula if that weren't a fact. You wouldn't have watched Candyman if that weren't a fact. You wouldn't have watched Freddy Krueger if that wasn't a fact. And just because this is a real life serial killer, I had a former band member of mine, right? Years ago, we were trying to come up with names for a band. And I said, well, if we're going to be a death metal band, why don't we call ourselves BTK? You know what I mean? After Dennis Rader, you know? Because that all just happened. Killer. Yes, this all just, it was perfect, dude. 2006, he literally like got himself caught and in Wichita, Kansas. And I was like, yo, dude, nobody has this as the name of their band. Like Black Dahlia Murder, you know, had that. And like there were other bands called Dahmer. There's a band called Dahmer, you know, like there's all these other bands, you know. There was a band named after Ted Bundy. And I was like, well, if we're going to be a death metal band, we could get away with just doing this as it being a fresh idea. And he was like, no, I don't want to glorify a serial killer. I'm like, but we're a death metal band. Aren't we glorifying death in general? You know what I mean? So whatever. The idea was shot down, but you know, that was epic too. Like, and nobody's romanticizing him because guys like Jeffrey Dahmer and guys like Ted Bundy were attractive to other people. Nobody fucking romanticizes fucking John Wayne Gacy because he was a fat, ugly bastard. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna talk about John Wayne Gacy. He was the clown, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. He played. Well, what he would do, they hired him to be a clown at children's parties, which was super creepy. And he did kill teenagers, not little kids. I don't think. I think they were all 14 and above, up to in their early 20s, buried underneath his house in the crawl space. Not unlike what Jeffrey Dahmer did. And Jeffrey Dahmer was sort of like a copycat in a way with how he went about. Because like in a lot of these interviews, he was, you know, like he tried to play stupid, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know these serial killers. And then he was like, yeah, I read about that guy. And yeah, I read up on that guy around the time I killed that guy. So when he buried that dude underneath his grandmother's crawl space, he was probably reading up about John Wayne Gacy because around that time was when he was being interviewed on TV after all those killings in the 60s and 70s. You know, Gacy was the creepiest one. There was a time when me and my wife did not live with each other and we tried to perform coitus and we could not engage because of how turned off we were after a John Wayne Gacy movie that we watched because we were so creeped out.
He killed up to 33 young men and boys.
That were accounted for. There could have been more, you know.
And he was Pogo the Clown and Patches the Clown. Wow.
Those are the two. And they said there was, okay, spoiler alert, in the Dahmer show, they do, is it the Dahmer show? Oh, no, not the Dahmer show. In, what's the one? Mindhunter. They have little cutout scenes of, you know, serial killers in the act. So it's like, you know, BTK doing things. And they have this one scene where it's John Wayne Gacy dressed up like Pogo the Clown, that certain diamond makeup that he does over his eyes. And he kills somebody, but could be sort of twisted. I don't think he killed anybody in the makeup, you know, which would be sick. That's a sick story, you know. Joker style, fucking murdering people is pretty crazy.
Apparently he was convicted of sodomy in Iowa.
He went to prison for like 2 years.
He was sentenced to 10 years, but only did 18 months.
Yeah, okay. He did 18 months. And he got out because he was a goody two-shoes. The guy made friends with all the fucking guards. He ran like some sort of educational program there. He was like a model prison citizen. and he got out early because of that. You know, because sodomy was really illegal where he lived. I think like it was like you could not fuck, even heterosexually fuck somebody in the ass. You know what I mean? So he got caught fucking somebody in the butt. So
He was executed on May 10th, 1984.
yeah, and apparently the legend has it that he like said "fuck you" to everybody in the audience. He told them to all go fuck themselves, or he said "suck my dick" or something like that. To because you know how like sometimes they'll have the victims' families like will be there to witness the execution, and he died by lethal injection right before they said any last words. He didn't say anything nice. That's the rumor that's out there, which is pretty fucking crazy. Real bad guy. You know, but they all meet their fate. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Jeffrey Dahmer died by getting his ass beat. You know,
well deserved. Cheers, Manic Mouth.
What's up, Manic Mouth?
Didn't he get his head caved in by another inmate?
He was in the gym in the prison, and there was a, arguably mentally disturbed inmate who, I guess, schemed his way into doing cleanup duty while Jeffrey Dahmer was also in the cleanup crew. And he lured one of the guys. There were two people who were cleaning up. He lured one of the guys. At least how they depicted it on the show, and I believe this is sort of how it went in real life. He lured one of the guys into the washroom, beat him with a broomstick or a mop handle, killed that guy because the guy killed two people. Jeffrey Dahmer died with somebody else, and then walked into the area where the gym was and grabbed one of the dumbbell bars and beat the crap out of him with it. Like literally, like turned his head into grape jelly. You know.
Well deserved.
You live by the psycho, you die by the psycho. That's sort of like, justice, I guess. You know what I mean? But they go into that TV show, they go into like his dad, and his dad taught him how to do taxidermy. And his dad used to like, as a hobby, would pick up roadkill and dissect it with him. So he sort of put him on the road a little bit. You know what I mean? Not to like totally blame the parents because everybody's responsible for their actions. But his dad had a little bit to do with it, which is, pretty nuts. But this is the thing. What's the difference between, right? How's the saying go? What's the difference between a serial killer and a world leader? You know what I mean? It's like one guy kills 30 people, the other guy kills 300. If you kill 30 people, you're a serial killer. If you kill 300,000, you're a world leader. You're a president. Yeah. What's up, Beth? Yeah, so it's like, really, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, they call Hitler a mass murderer, and rightfully so, and everybody underneath him in the hierarchy of the German
but he didn't physically murder
ranks.
anybody, did he?
No, but like, let's just say Himmler, right, or any of the SS, they were in command. Maybe they didn't physically kill people, but they commanded people to die. So it's like your people are your instruments. So it's like, look at it this way. If you are my lieutenant, right, and I say, Mike, I want you to kill 10 people, you are my gun. And I'm pulling the trigger on you to go and do that. Or I'm, hey, Steve, what's going on? You're about to hear some weird shit. So, like, what's the difference between a serial killer? Serial killer, like that guy, speaking about serial killers, in Stockton, home of the Diaz brothers, Stockton, California, there is a mass murderer on the loose who's killed people.
Puerto Ricans or Spanish people?
Yeah, he's just seemingly at random, but they all seem to be people who are just hanging out in their cars or just walking in the street. And they have enough, and they may have more linked, and they're calling him the Stockton shooter. But he's a Bay Area killer. Like, he's probably killed people in Oakland, they believe, and as well as Stockton.
My sister sends me the thing about that. And she's like, how does it feel? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, how does it feel to not have to worry about being killed by him because you're not Spanish enough?
Oh!
I was like, ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
She Latinx shamed you, yo.
Yeah. And did you see this thing where the whole family was kidnapped?
Yeah, yo. And I think an Indian family. Singh, I think, was their last name.
I don't know if they're Indian. They looked.
Yeah, I think they were an Indian family because one of the wife of the guy because they were a husband, a wife, and a baby, and
And
another
their
husband.
uncle. And their uncle.
Yes.
Right? It was their
So the
uncle.
lady's husband, the uncle's wife, went on television begging for them to be returned. The guy tried to commit suicide. He did it, but they got him, and he's in
Yeah, but
critical condition.
he's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like what for? What? Like pretty singled out. Like this family to just kidnap them for what reason? There's got to be something else
Did you see
behind
the
it.
video? That was weird.
No, that I did. I only saw the TV interview with the uncle's wife.
Let's see if I can find it.
Actually, let me get my stand up so I can get my phone in on this. All right, let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy because it's like, usually there's like an MO with a kidnapping, like ransom or something like that. But it seemed like this guy just, the way that the news made it sound was like he snatched these, 4 people. And I mean, listen, you know what? Not to be sort of negative Nancy about shit, but it just seems like they were murked at random. Like,
No, I don't.
there's got to be an MO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not giving anything on the news.
Well, when you see the video, you're gonna be like, "Huh." I'm gonna show it. 1 second.
Just watch your back out there, and I see there's chaos in New York too. People are, I guess, the knockout game is becoming popular again.
Really? Unbelievable.
You remember that, like 10 years ago, like the kids are doing it. Now there's just full grown ass adults just knocking people out in the street.
As he goes over and makes contact with our suspect, and then you'll see him walking back over towards the.
See, the guy behind them is the suspect.
He looks like a homeless guy with a garbage bag.
He's got this trash bag in his hand.
This guy runs up the stairs at once.
He walks up to the building. Pause it. Give it.
He
Photo of our
stops to
suspect.
look around. Huh. What has he got in the bag?
He's gonna put the bag
He'll
down.
walk up the ramp. He'll put down the trash bag, and you'll see right there. He pulls out a firearm.
Oh, shit. So he's like, come with me. All right?
Yeah, Beth. for
This is in
real.
Texas? This is Texas?
He then
Northern
enters-
California.
Unfortunately,
no,
there's
North Cal-
cameras inside of the business.
Yo, is this
We
the
do not-
is
we
this
have
the
no
serial
video
shooter?
footage
Is he the
inside.
serial shooter? Oh, okay. Yeah, Beth, the world is a fucking crazy place. People are going berserk, man.
So he goes inside with the gun and then comes out the
9/11,
back door
opens. You'll see the suspect
With the
come out,
family?
you'll see the firearm.
with only the parents, not the
It
child,
also appears that
or
Jazz
the uncle
Deep,
yet.
Long Deep are zip tied behind their backs.
and they have zip ties on.
Wow.
So he leaves the uncle and the baby behind, and they stay and wait for him instead of go get help.
What?
Yeah, look, he zip ties them and walks them to the car.
Because he threatened. He probably said, if you call the cops, I shoot them both. Is probably what he told them. Obviously, you know what I mean. That seems like textbook what a kidnapper would do.
Yeah, but the first thing you do when the kidnapper leaves is you call the cops.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
See, look, he walks them to the car over here.
What
See the
fuck,
back
man?
corner over there?
So the trailer, what is that for? Is this a construction
Deep
site?
It's
That's not their
they
home.
said
is
they,
it?
they keep calling it a business, but that doesn't look like a business to me.
Well, it's their whatever, their office for something. Usually trailers like that are for construction sites, typically. You know what I mean? There's some sort of project. Damn. You used to be
So he-
snatching people in
Puts them
California.
in the car
yeah.
and drives away. And drives away. Uncle stays there with the baby, doesn't do anything.
With the baby. And this dude comes back for them both. For how long? How long did he drive away for?
It's gonna
how
tell
long
you.
was he- Oh,
All
okay.
right, so that was 9:13 when the vehicle left. It's now 9:19. The truck is back.
13 to 19. 7 minutes?
Wow.
No, it's not 7 minutes. It's less than that.
Same suspect gets out of the vehicle, goes back inside the business.
Is this human trafficking?
All this work, though?
Yeah, for 3 older people, the baby, like if he was going after the baby and he's just like, oh,
Less than
and there's a
minute later,
dog there.
You're going to see
Hey, look.
Jasmine and Arohi come out of the business unrestrained.
Unrestrained.
Well, you're not going to restrain
I'll shoot the baby.
an 8-month-old, and you need
Yeah,
someone
I'll
to
shoot the
hold it.
baby. Yeah. Wow.
Perhaps locking up the dog wasn't a good idea.
You know, it looks like a big enough dog. Dog's barking. He knows
Oh,
something's up. You see
that's
that dog
her.
knows.
That's not him. The uncle and
Oh,
the
he took
husband
the
went
two men.
first.
He
Yeah.
took the two men. Yeah, it's easier to keep the woman subdued, I guess, with the baby. Wow.
You still go get help. The
Call the
second,
cops.
and now they found one of their cell phones in a rural area of California.
I mean, listen, you know, like, to those who are, like, watching, not to be, like, a negative Nancy, but, you know, what are the chances of finding them alive, really?
If
You know what I mean?
Well, since the suspect tried to kill himself, I'm going to assume he already
Yeah.
killed them.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think this has anything to do with the Stockton shooter?
No.
Do you think that this could possibly have, like, human trafficking, like, sort of, like, the baby, right?
Yeah, but all that work for that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Do you think they were targeted because they were Indian business owners? Like, it was race related? What was the guy? What was the ethnicity of the guy who did
The
it?
person of interest, they haven't said it's the person that did it for sure. It's a person of interest is Jesus Manuel Salgado.
Okay, so possibly
Gang
like a
related.
Latino
Come on,
gentleman.
it's gotta be gang related.
Gang, but what? I've never heard of, like, you know, Indian immigrant gangbangers before. You know what I mean? Like, what's up with that? Like, did these guys open up a business in a gang territory? Maybe.
Or did they take some kind of deal with them? You know, some kind of take money or some nonsense.
Like a loan, like a
Yeah,
loan shark kind of
exactly.
thing. And they had to make an example of him.
Well, when you don't pay, you make an example of them.
Yo, wow! Oh, he's got a neck tattoo. He's a banger.
And this is the guy that tried to shoot himself before the cops got there,
Wow.
but he survived. But that was
Man.
yesterday. There's been no update on his health.
He was in critical condition. Last I saw, the last news report I saw. Damn, Cali's getting crazy too, man. Fucking Wild West with that shit, dude. Now you gotta, like, watch. You can't even walk home in Stockton without fucking just getting randomly shot for a non-gang related issue. You know what I mean? It's different, like, if you know that, okay, that block is bad because they sling crack on that block, so I know to avoid that because there's a potential of drive-bys or whatever. So, and you know that any major city, there's, like, certain places where you won't go, and it was a young couple too. That's fucking fucked, man. That is so fucked. I feel so bad, man.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? You know, like, what is this world coming to?
Well,
It's like, yeah.
I say never listen. Like, if someone has a gun and says, get in the car or I'll shoot you, you run. Because if you get in the car, you're never going to be seen again.
Yeah. God damn. Oh, I just seen that South Korea shooting missiles over Japan. Japan just shot themselves over the last couple of days. They
Japan,
had, like,
they
had sirens going, dude.
North
They
Korea's
think they
going
were
to
gonna
get
get hit by a
fucked
nuke.
up. North Korea's going to get fucked up. And it's going to bring us into World War III with China and Russia.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, if we have to jump to Japan's defense, that's going to sort of, like, leave it open for China just to go right after Taiwan because they know we're already in the theater. If we go into, you know, like the North China Sea, is that where, like, the Korean Peninsula is, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or Sea of Japan or something like that. So if we're already stationed in South Korea and have been since the 50s, right? Since the early Cold War. And we haven't left, and we have the demilitarized zone, you know, like bordering North Korea, which we've had our technically our guns pointed at them since then, since 1954, 56 or whatever. And it's always been, you know, who's going to pull the trigger first, even though it was, like, for decades, it was sort of like, oh, nothing's going to happen. This is just all for show. And now it's not going to be. They're shooting rockets over Japan. They're not even just shooting it into the sea. They're shooting it into the Pacific, which is over, a sovereign nation, which is a missile that could carry a warhead on it, potentially. But what's North Korea to gain if they start like shooting fucking missiles at Japan? Like, what the fuck are they going to get from that? Like, they're going to take over Japan? Do they really think they're going to take them over?
They don't. They're just trying to scare everybody and be like, hey, don't forget about us.
This is the thing. If you look at it this way, and this is not to like, diss the North Koreans, although this isn't diss to North Koreans. It's like, aren't they like a feeble people, the North Koreans? Like, they're starved.
But not the military. Not the military, not the higher ups. It's only the people.
Yeah, but do you think they're as well trained as the South Korean army is? Or even the Chinese? Like, the Chinese has, like millions of troops.
Yeah, I heard the Chinese are having trouble finding qualified pilots to fly their fighter jets.
Yes, but they have ground troops galore though. They could form a naval and ground invasion into Taiwan easily. They could do that whenever they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but why they could do that, and no one can do anything about it? Because how are you supposed to defend a country if they all look alike?
Well, I mean, to you from a distance, they all look alike, but I'm pretty sure they could all tell each other apart. You know what I mean?
I was joking. First off, okay. Second off, I'm pretty sure they say the same thing about us.
Oh yeah, totally, dude. Yeah, no, all the guaylos look the same, bro. Like, the thing is, you know what? A lot of white people do look the same, but most of the white people I know are a cornucopia of whites. There is like several, there's 50 shades of white. You know what I mean? Some people are darker than others, dude. You got your Sicilians and Greeks, you got your Irish, you got your Norwegian, you got your Russians, you got your Spaniards, you know what I mean? The Portuguese, they're all different. They're all different. A lot of, you get a lot of Arabs that identify as white. You get a lot of Jews that identify as white, even though they might be Israeli, Middle Eastern, People from the Caucasus who you could consider to be like, aren't these Turkmen? Like, yeah, maybe so. But they consider themselves to be Caucasian from the Caucasus Mountains.
Well, I mean, that's Caucasian, technically. That's real Caucasian.
It's where the word comes from.
Yeah, it's not...
Like the word slave comes from Slav. You know what I mean? It comes from Slavic people.
Tell every white person they're Caucasian, because if they're not from the Caucasus Mountain region, you're not technically Caucasian.
Right. But they're still going to all, shoot at each other and all that shit. Should we stop China from taking over Taiwan? Like, this is the thing. If we already do so much business with China, how is it going to affect business? Like, if we're already making money with them, you know what I mean? Yeah, they take over Taiwan. So whatever relationship we had business-wise with Taiwan, it's now the Chinese dealing with it. So what, are they going to fuck us on a couple of deals? We're still in business with them, regardless. I
was going to say, with all this shit going on in the world, people don't realize that all the governments are like this. We all rely on each other for different things.
Yeah.
So we're literally fighting over stupid things while we all rely on each other for this other things.
Well, speaking about business, we still have a lot of business with Russia, even though we have like this friction with the whole Ukraine situation. But now there's a pipeline in the North Sea or the Baltic Sea that's ruptured, and people like the Russians are pointing the fingers at OPEC or like some of the NATO, or the NATO affiliates, and and the United States is pointing the finger, saying that it's Russian sabotage if they did it themselves to go and point fingers at other people, which could be true because listen, the United States and Russia aren't unfamiliar with doing shady shit to sort of post blame onto a rival.
Wait, the U.S. never did shady shit to start a war?
Well, the Gulf of Tonkin.
I was just going to say the Gulf of Tonkin was 100% real and factual. They attacked us.
That totally happened, bro. That totally happened. Yeah, I mean, listen, wasn't there like also what started the Spanish-American War? Like, wasn't there like a ship that was blown up technically by the Spanish but they think it was like sort of like, or was that a Civil War thing? There was something like way back when that brought us into a theater of war that was like a bullshit thing
Weapons
too.
of mass destruction.
The most recent and most famous one, the Iraqi weapons of mass destruction that Saddam
Meanwhile,
was hiding.
so 9/11 happens. Those responsible is Osama bin Laden and his associates in Al Qaeda.
I don't think there's an R. I don't think there's an R in Al Qaeda.
What do you mean?
You said Al Qaeda.
Al Qaeda?
Al Qaeda. You put an R at the end of it. At least it sounded like it. Don't mind me.
I'm from Brooklyn. We put R's in
You
weird
mispronounced it.
places.
Yeah.
Listen. Al Qaeda.
Al Qaeda.
Listen. It was Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda. I did it again just for you.
Yeah, Al
And
Qaeda.
instead of going after them in the beginning, we're like, well, look at this country over here. We don't like them. And then that country's like, hey, we're at war with Al Qaeda as well, so you want to like help each other and go after Al Qaeda? And then the U.S. is like, yeah, well, we hear you have weapons of mass destruction and you've been aiding Al Qaeda. He's like, no, we're at war with Al Qaeda. We don't like them. And the U.S. is like, get him.
Yeah. Well, did you see that movie, the Christian Bale movie about Dick Cheney? I think it's called Vice or something like that.
No, I didn't. But
Well, you got to watch it, dude. Because Christian Bale, he is okay. Everybody likes to say Daniel Day-Lewis and all that shit, but there's so many other actors who do that more often. Daniel Day-Lewis will come out once every 10 years and do. He's Lincoln. He's this guy. He's that guy. He's Bill the Butcher. And he transforms. He blasts the Mohicans. Like he does all these movies. He transforms into the character. But you know what? Fuck that. Because Christian Bale, he's really a fucking method actor. He gets into it. So he was Dick Cheney. He gained weight for it. They also had to put like a little bit of a fat suit on him. But he still gained crazy weight for that role. There's a scene where they're all sitting in the war room. Now, it's Colin Powell and Dick Cheney and this one, Rumsfeld. They're all sitting in the room, and Condoleezza Rice. And it's pretty much Cheney and Colin Powell are going back and forth. And Colin Powell's like, but Al-Qaeda is in Afghanistan. Why do we need to go into Iraq? It's like, because he's harboring terrorists there. And I think they may have weapons of mass destruction. And they're like, what? We have no evidence of that. Like, they're pretty much saying that they knew prior, but it was like politically they were pressured into going with that narrative.
Uh-huh.
And why is because if we cannot effectively win a war in the mountains, because they saw Russia lose in the 80s to the Afghani people. If we cannot, the name of the movie I think is Vice, starring Christian Bale, I believe. You got to look it up. Just Christian Bale, Dick Cheney, and you'll get the name of the movie, Beth. It's a fantastic movie. It's awesome.
It's called Vice.
Vice is a great movie, awesome movie. And if you ever get your chance, it's an Oliver Stone movie called W about George W. Bush.
That was also pretty good.
Josh Brolin was a great Bush, dude. He was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great movie. So they were like, well, we know we could take Iraq because we've done it before. We'll take Iraq just so that we can have our people in the Persian Gulf next to Iran. So we don't have to be stuck in the Indian Ocean constantly sending Blackhawks to fucking Afghanistan, wasting energy on going there and and fuel. When we have all the fuel we need in the gas fields in Iraq, and you kill two birds with one stone. The two birds are an effective placement in the theater of war, and you get to bilk resources from a resource-rich country. And nobody's going to give a shit, really, nobody's going to give a shit when you total this fucking country, which is what we did. We pretty much leveled Iraq. You know what I mean? Leaving these people decades of rebuilding to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to use all their oil. And right now we don't have that oil anymore. That's why you're paying $5 a gallon in New York and why they're paying up to $8 a gallon still in California. I only paid $3 a gallon.
I paid $3 a gallon.
Yeah, but I think it fluctuates depending on where you are.
I paid $3.09 today.
$3.12 right around the corner for me, but that's the lowest it's been since COVID.
$3.09. I got lucky and found a random gas station upstate.
Oh, you see? But what if you got in Queens, where you're at right now?
350.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's still not bad.
Yeah, it
But
went down here.
but
When we
even
went to Cali, it was expensive.
oh yeah, dude. They said what did I hear? It was up to $8 a gallon in certain
Insane.
parts of California. You know, I mean, listen, you know what? They could get away with it. And I noticed, like, if I go to like one of the richer neighborhoods or towns in South Florida,
It's more
if
money,
you're in
right?
the if you're in the heart of Boca, they're still charging $5 a gallon in the middle of Boca. If you're in like the like Wilton Manors is like the world famous gay neighborhood in Fort Lauderdale. The gas stations in Wilton Manors are like $5 because everyone there has money. You know what I mean? If you're in Miami, some places it's still $5 a gallon because Miami's an expensive place to live. So it depends on where you are, the market. If you're in Malibu, you're paying $8 a gallon for gas because they know they got you. Because they know that you're going to drive your Bentley and you're not going to, not take your Bentley.
But and they're also trying to make everyone switch to electric cars. I think this whole price gouging of gasoline is just to force people to make the decision to switch to electric cars. But people don't realize an electric vehicle, while that vehicle itself might not pollute as much as you think,
The industry.
the way it was built polluted more than when they build cars. When they mine the materials to make that battery pollutes more than when you build a car. The power, how the power is made and mined and created pollutes
The
more.
ethics, Mike. The ethics.
It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, they're using kids to get what is it? It's I think it's cobalt, right? Lithium, all of the minerals, right, that go into making one of these batteries. Actually destroys the environment more in the long run. And there's no way to recycle most of these things. Like, so the idea is, it's like, yes, if you could build an electric powered car that lasts you the rest of your life, yes, then building this one car makes sense to the environment. But if you're in a society where the market is no car company making electric cars are going to make any money by selling you a car that's going to last you 80 years. So that's
the problem.
Want you with the new car every 5 years. That's what they want, right? And how is that going to happen without building new battery cars and destroying the environment doing it?
And I feel like they bred that into our brains, because look how cell phones are. Every year there's a new cell phone. The iPhone 12, has 1 megapixel in the camera more than last one, so you have to get this one. And everyone.
Well, it's the 14 now, right? Isn't it the 14?
I don't pay attention to this.
I think I still have the 11. I'm not sure. It might be the 12. I don't know. But the thing is, like, I've only had in the last 8 years. I've had, I think, 3 phones in the last 8 years.
Ow. Sorry, there was a titty in front of me.
Yeah. How do you?
I went to grab the titty.
You know what's so fucking awesome? I love how there's just so much debris flying at you off screen. Like, that's just coming. You look like you're in an asteroid field right now.
It was a Sour Patch Kid too. Someone threw a Sour Patch at me, so I ate it.
Nice. Yeah, that $60,000, right? When you're living paycheck to paycheck is not affordable.
No.
It's not. And listen, like a $29,000 car or a $25,000 car is more affordable. But you're gonna pay through the teeth for gas. It's like it's a double-edged sword. And it's like, yes, Mike, like you said, they are sort of forcing the market to force people in California to buy electric. But you know what I mean? They're expensive. You can't expect somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck to buy or finance one of these cars when they are more focused on paying their rent, paying their bills, and making sure that they're fed and feeding their kids, and sending their kids to school. It's not as applicable as it probably will be in the future, and they might even come up with better ideas to make the battery smaller. Maybe you won't need a 3,000-pound battery in a car 20 years from now when it's more plausible to switch to electric. But what is the date in California? 2030 what?
I don't know. That's the ridiculous.
It's about a decade that they're expecting everybody to switch over. Yeah. So, in California, the used car market is going to fucking be booming for 2035.
2035.
So watch, 2035, do you know how many used or pre-owned vehicles are going to get shipped to California? Because, you know what I mean? Or people are going to leave Cali and go to Arizona to buy a used vehicle to bring it back to California, And that's what's going to happen. And then they can't stop you from registering any vehicle. You just can't buy a non-electric vehicle in California.
It's so stupid.
People will leave because of that, dude.
People will leave because of many things.
Of course, but that's one of the many that will force a population of people to leave. And then how do you sustain your state without people, who don't want to get paid? Yeah, but let's just say this, are they ready to pay six-figure salaries to a McDonald's worker? Because that's what's going to happen. That's what you're going to have to do. Because no one's going to be able to afford to live there and or to flip your burgers to make it to work without one of these $60,000 cars.
But hopefully with more how much is the Chevy Spark? That's their electric one. I think that's cheap.
Or Volt. Volt, is it the Chevy Volt? Spark or Volt?
Spark.
Spark.
You could get it for $15K.
Yeah, but that's one of those roller skate cars. Like if you have like a family of 5, what are you driving? I think the Volt is the SUV version.
If you have a family of 5, you want to get something big like a Tahoe. A Tahoe is a gas-powered vehicle, and it's still like $60,000. So it's not.
Or any SUV or a minivan. Are they making electric minivans yet? I haven't seen an electric minivan. I don't know of any. You know what I mean? But California right now is the only state that's sort of like implementing any sort of timeline for, like going strictly electric vehicles. Like I don't think most states are going to jump on that bandwagon.
New York has already.
Yeah, the thing is like New York City, as far as just the metropolitan area, I don't think it'd be that much of a problem. Upstate and the vast majority of the state, Eastern Long Island, that's not going to fucking fly.
No, well, if you want to drive far, you want to go to Canada, you're going to have to drive and stop to charge your fucking car how many times? And it's not the same thing as filling up on gas. It doesn't take 2 seconds. You want a full charge. That's another thing. The charging technology isn't really there yet. There's some speed charging vehicles and there's some speed chargers.
But it's still a half hour.
It takes time, yeah.
Yeah, it's still a half hour.
Not everyone wants to stop for a half hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
how long are you at the gas station? With you still have the Hyundai, right?
I have the truck, a Hyundai truck.
Okay, so how long does it take you to gas up your car? 5 minutes?
If that long?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me legit less than 5 minutes to fill up my wife's car and my car. Less than 5 minutes, and I'm out. And I have a full tank of gas that will get me 400 miles. And that speed charge doesn't get you to max distance.
It gets you to 30 minutes, gets you to like 3/4 charge, and the rest is going to take more time.
If you want, and I think even still, a lot of, like, you have to leave it on for 4 hours to get a full charge, I think, in most electric vehicles. Plus, 4 hours plus. A lot of people will plug their shit in overnight or whatever.
Yeah, who wants to do that? Who wants to go to a gas station and sit around for 3 hours?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I know that they're supposed to be doing electric trucks. I know that they have this, Tesla had something with solar-powered trucks and stuff like that,
They have some, but I don't know how they're being used currently or what the deal is. I know they have some, though. I just don't know.
Listen, as far as, like, electric vehicles, right? Why aren't they pushing the trucking industry to do that? There are less trucks than there are personal cars out there.
Well, not even that, but with all this self-driving nonsense, they are, I know, but you got to add more of that technology in the trucking to make that safer. Not that truck drivers don't do a great job, because they do, but there's always once in a while an incident where someone falls asleep or some issue happens and they get abused. Make their lives easier. Give them electric self-driving vehicles. Like autopilot until you have to park.
Yeah.
It's like flying a plane. It's autopilot until you have to land.
Listen, let me tell you, dude, I have a little bit of a, I'm dialed into like some stories as far as the faulty electric vehicles and some electric vehicles being at fault for accidents, and self-driving technology is not there yet because there are dead people who are dead, and there are families out there who are suing companies like BMW and Tesla for suing BMW for faulty batteries that exploded upon impact, right, in an accident. but Tesla specifically being sued because of bad self-driving mechanisms. You know what I mean? That have caused accidents.
Well,
and
it
killed
says the problem is it says very clearly you still have to pay attention, and people don't do that. They
Your
take a
hands still
nap.
need to be on the wheel.
They take
right.
a nap. I have a friend that has a Tesla, and he's like, I don't know how I got home the other day. I was totally out cold, and my hands were not on the wheel, and it just got me home. And I'm
So
like,
dangerous.
you need to be awake. You need to not do that. That's how you die. Oh, but the car.
I don't even think I trust it, even if it was 100%.
Exactly. I wouldn't. I would still have to be awake the whole time, at least. You know?
Yeah, at least, yeah. Just in case you had to grab on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like my car does like the self steering for like lane assist
Me
where
too.
it stays in the lane. But
Yeah.
you still have to pay attention because if for some reason the lines disappear, you're gonna go
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Dude, sometimes it does that when there's no lines there.
It jerks you, right? It kind of
Yeah.
pulls you, yeah.
Dude, and this is the thing. I have I recently got a new car, so I have a Honda HR-V, but I had a Civic before that. The Civic, every once in a while, I'd be on a one-way, right, and driving, and it would be like you're moving out of your lane, or it would do it like if I were just slightly turning onto a merge, like if there was a merge and there's no line. You know, like, hey, what's going on, Eddie? Like, if you're merging, it would still do the and shake. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I shouldn't have to be forcing the wheel because the lanes are telling me to merge. So it's like, yeah, a lot of that stuff isn't there yet. You know what I mean? I don't think, at least, you know. And these are brand new vehicles. You know what I mean? That are doing this. I like the idea, just in case if, God forbid, you know, my eyes were off of the road, it would remind you to get your hands back on the fucking wheel. But I never take my eyes off the road. You know, I don't pick up my cell phone. You know, I have everything through Apple Play, and I have a touch screen literally right in front of my face now. So there's no reason for me to pick up my phone. So, but it will still do it, especially when like I'm on the highway. If I merge into the express lane, the double line will always trigger it, even if I put my fucking blinker on. You know what I mean? Because it thinks that I'm crossing over a two-way street.
Yeah.
And not over the HOV lane, you know, or the express lane. So I don't trust any of that shit yet. You know, I would love for it to be the Jetsons, bro. Nothing more than I would love the future shit. But
can you imagine if there's no steering wheel anymore and you just punch in your destination, you sit there and you play video games and wait. You have Xbox in your car with a big screen TV and you're just like,
well, they have the hover bike now. Did you see the hover bike? It flies like a drone. Pull that up, and it's gonna be put on the market. They're gonna sell this, and I think they're like $100,000 a piece, or something like $90,000 a piece. They're not as expensive as you would think. Yes, they're expensive, but I would think it would be like, oh, it's gotta be like $1 million. It's like, nah, dude. Like if if you're a millionaire, you could easily buy one of these things, or the flying bike or something like that, or you know. Yeah. And what was it, 3 weeks ago? Yes, this is it. Yep. This will be on the market.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, yo.
I'm smoking that Ghost OG. By 710 Labs.
I feel like I'm literally like 15 years old and I just got out of Star Wars and I jumped on their bike. I mean, it's awesome.
So it is like a speeder. You know what I mean? Speeder bike. I mean, listen, I don't know if I trust that.
40
What if
minutes.
one of those engines goes out? What if one of those fan coils goes out? You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, where's the compensation? Let's just say if the two on the right-hand side fail, that center fan is going to keep you level? I doubt that. You know?
It only stays up for 45 minutes.
50. Look, they hope to bring it down to $50,000. I think, you know, but where this is okay.
I wouldn't mind driving that to work.
I wouldn't mind if the technology is 100% there. Where are the sky highways? Do you think that people are literally just going to jump over the traffic and go without any sort of legal regulation?
Of course
That's
not.
going to prevent you from doing that? No fucking way, dude. I ain't riding that shit either, bro.
What's this one? What's this
Oh, this
guy?
is the Iron Man suit. This is the hover suit. This stuff's pretty cool, though. I think for recreation, I think this looks real fun. I wouldn't use it as a mode of transportation, though.
That's cool too.
Yeah,
Wow.
but that's no different. That's just an airplane, though.
Yeah.
You know. But those hand jets and the jetpacks, those jetpacks look crazy dangerous because you could literally go up hundreds of feet into the air. And yeah, these guys are flying over water, but when you hit that water, it's like fucking concrete.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
So-
if it's water. Yeah, exactly.
You know, but I don't think it's practical as a mode of transportation, though. Because there'd be so many people who would just be pancaked, bro. Like, imagine you're on the BQE and some motherfucker just tries to hover over everybody in traffic, and one of their fucking fan coils fails, and then they
Just
go,
imagine what the Sky BQE is gonna look like.
they fly into one of those nice apartment buildings overlooking the fucking skyline, and you just go right through somebody's window, you know?
Yeah, you do fucking die easily, man.
Yeah, you'd be fucking.
Why do you think most plane crashes there's no survivors? Because gravity usually wins.
Impact? Well, that velocity and impact, like, because you're not just dropping straight down through gravity. It's like even if you're hovering, you're floating, you lose control and you slam into a building, dude. You die like that fucking baseball player from the Yankees did like 15 years ago. You remember that shit? That dude flew right into like he flew past the Chrysler building on the east side and slammed into an apartment building. You know what I mean? And died. Dude, just flying a Cessna. But I have nothing to say. Like it's not gonna happen unless there's like Back to the Future too. Like when they had road dividers in the sky and shit like that kept you in the lane. So it's like if you had like the Tesla self-driving technology, but they were sensors that kept you, and it was fail-safe, like fail-proof. Like yeah, I could see that happening. But
It's
I don't.
too
I ain't
much
buying that shit.
room for error. Yeah, there's too much.
It's a rich boy toy right now, as far as I'm concerned. I don't believe there's any practicality to that.
Ready to
You know.
go.
We could all be hopeful that we could fucking advance, I guess, another. If they put that shit into, I don't know, like, something else a little bit more practical, because really, what is that hover bike? It's really just a helicopter where the rotor is underneath you. If you think about it, right?
Basically, it's exactly what it is.
What happens if you slip off the bike and you just go, phew, like you just get chopped up as you fucking fall through it? You know what I mean? Like that. What about that? Like, oh, I got my foot caught in a fucking fan coil, and you got a stump for a leg now because you fucking slipped off your bike. Like, cause there's no harness that keeps you in, right? That guy wasn't harnessed, was he?
I don't know. Didn't look like it was
I don't know.
harnessed. It didn't
Looked
look
like he was just like on a motorcycle. Too fucking dangerous for my blood, bro. I can't fuck with
seriously.
that shit. If I was a daredevil, maybe I'd be into it, but not for me, man. You know what? Eddie, I don't think it will never work, but I think we're too far away from it working. You know what I mean? Because Da Vinci came up with the fucking with the gyroscope, and then 500 years later, they were helicopters. Yeah, dude, that would be big for the cartels. Like, I guarantee, yeah, dude, Eddie, I fucking hear that. There's definitely going to use those things. Like, the cartels are going to smuggle crazy bundles of fentanyl over the border with those fucking things. Because that sort of, eliminates the tunnel. Like, if you could fly under air radar, you know what I mean? Like, you could easily just drop bundles of fucking dope into the desert in Arizona and New Mexico and Texas. Like, and it's like a little parachute with the bundle at the bottom of it. That's what they do out here. It is not uncommon that bundles of cocaine wash up on the beaches by me. There's always news reports of Pompano Beach, another couple of bundles that were found. Those are just the ones that weren't picked up. Those are just the ones that, like, the stragglers. Because, like, they'll find a giant fucking block of fucking floating coke, right? But that wasn't the only one. There were probably 20 more that were picked up by whatever speedboat went from Miami and just like fucking hooked back around. You know, so that happens all the time by the beaches in South Florida. Bundles of coke are always being found, but they're probably being dropped off the same way. I feel like there's probably like low-flying airplanes that just drop them off too, like they've been for years. But now they got these hover bikes, $50,000 a pop. It's a lot cheaper than an airplane. You know what I mean? So who knows, man? It could revolutionize the smuggling business.
It really would. I mean,
They're really like human-powered drones. Like they're drones that are just big with a guy on top of it. That you could probably fly those things remotely, bro. You could probably easily.
Why wouldn't you be able to? There's drones like that you can fly remotely. The military has bigger drones you can fly remotely. So this is, that's just a way to.
Bro, you watch those missile videos? You ever watch those?
Which ones?
Like the drone bombs? Like they throw them like, and then you see the dude just blow up.
Yep. Well, they have the ones with the night vision stuff that they look like little people running, and then they just boom, 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 boom.
And they're not even rockets. Well, one of them I saw was like it had some sort of propulsion.
It just drops. Yeah.
It just drops, dude, and then boom, like these little fucking things, bro, blowing up like. And yo, I seen these new age landmines. Like back in the day in like fucking Vietnam, they'd have like these landmines that were about the size of a fucking pie. Right? And they would dig them underground, and you'd step on the top, and the pressure would blow your leg off, right? They have now these mines that they toss out, and they look like toys. So they're actually designed, as sick as it is, for kids to pick them up. So once you grab them, or if you walk close to it, you don't even step on it. They look like these little fluorescent green plastic wings. And they flutter down like those ginkgo trees. You know, like the ginkgo trees in New York? They have those seeds that like sort of spin down.
Yeah.
These things get dropped out of airplanes. They spin down and they get dropped for urban combat. They drop them in cities. So when the fucking the enemy army walks through, they kick this plastic fucking cap and it blows up. You know, and they're only just now realizing that all these things are fucking landmines. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's funny.
Bro.
It sounds like a new, updated version of a claymore. That's
what it
sounds like.
It is, but they're so small, dude. They're like this big, like literally like that. You know what I mean? If you could put your hands together and make a little circle, they're not that big, and they have one wing on one side because when they drop out of the plane, they spin like this and land safely, softly enough for it not to be discharged. But once you step on it and you crunch it, it detonates.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. I think it's like Russian tech too. I think the Russians are doing that to the Ukrainians.
Of course it is. The Russians know how to kill people pretty well. No.
Yeah, a lot of practice.
Yeah. You know, World War II.
Well, they killed a lot of their own people. They sent a lot of their own soldiers in as fodder without weapons because they wanted to distract the Nazis.
Well, they would send everyone in, like they would have the troops go, and out of the troops, only 1 out of 3 people had a gun. You wouldn't know which was which because who pays attention?
And those rifles were unreliable too. They wouldn't fire all the time.
You know what movie depicts that? Enemy at the Gates.
Yes, with Jude Law, right?
That was a good movie.
Great fucking movie.
That was a good movie.
I love that scene, the tower scene, when he's like sniping everybody.
Well, there's a few of those scenes in the movie, but that's I think near the beginning when he first gets noticed as being a sniper, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was good.
That was a good movie. Yeah, it wasn't not James Caan. Who was the sniper? The Russian sniper was James Caan, wasn't it? No, not James Caan.
James Caan is Sonny from Godfather.
No, I know. What's his name?
And he's the father also in Elf.
What's the guy's name I'm thinking of? Ed Harris.
Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ed Harris. He's the mob boss in State of Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that guy. That guy's a good actor.
Do you happen to watch the show Westworld?
I didn't watch the new one on HBO. I haven't watched the new one. I'm more familiar with the original Westworld with Yul Brynner. Yeah.
Now the new one's it's weird, but it's good, but it's weird.
Hey man, robot fucking is going to become something like
It
very
already
soon.
it already has. It already is something.
Well, they're not sex bots. They're sex dolls, and they have ones that like can articulate like their eyes and their mouth and stuff, but they can't walk. They
No,
can't give you a hand job.
not yet.
They can't suck your dick. I mean, like really, like give you a two-handed
They
like
could
gluck
though.
gluck
Hold on,
3000.
hold on.
They don't
They
got
could.
that good spit, Mike.
But they
can't
no,
be
hold
like,
on, hold on.
They can't do that. Not yet. There's no saliva generating
Hold
sex
on.
bot yet.
Hold on. Hold on.
Are we about to watch like Pornhub or something?
No.
The anticipation is killing me.
but
I
they-
do want to watch a robot porn.
Hold on. No, not. Oh my God! It took me to Pornhub. It took me to Pornhub.
I told you, dude. Trust me. I've already tried to Google this.
No, but I've seen it. I've seen it. I found them before. I was like, this is real and it's for sale. It's like, it's basically a machine that does, suck your dick
Oh
for
no,
you.
the blowjob machine. The
Yes.
blowjob machine.
You could just
yes,
put that
no,
in the doll.
No, but
There
I
you
need
go.
a fully yes, but the thing is, they can't go like this. They can't give you the GI Joe grip, and then spit on it.
Do that again. Can I see the motion? Oh, okay.
They can't do that.
There's ways to fix that too. You can have like
I don't trust that. I don't want the Terminator's hand fucking grabbing my dick because it would. Okay. Do you remember RoboCop, the original RoboCop?
yes.
Okay. Do you remember they were like, oh, well, we just got rid of the arm altogether and we replaced it with this, and he goes, okay, and then he goes to shake the robot hand, and he goes like this, and then the robot hand just grips him. He's like, and he like broke his hand. I'm not letting a robot jerk me off. Just saying. They will. The first prototype is going to twist your dick off by accident. There's going to be a whole bunch of dudes who have to get their penis reattached because they turned the gauge
The
up
pressure
on the
all
grip.
the way up.
Oh, my sex robot ran out of saliva lube. I got to go buy another gallon of saliva lube because
Another gallon.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you got to like change the oil in those motherfuckers because you don't want your sex bot to dry up. You know what I mean?
But just imagine you're at the store and you're like, all right, sir, where do you have the what would we just call it? What would we just call it?
The Gluck Gluck 3000.
No, the lube. But it's like just regular lube. But what do you
the
sell?
sex
Where do you
bot
sell
lube.
sex bot lube?
Yeah.
Which aisle is the sex bot lube? That'd be aisle 4 next to the pancake mix. I don't know.
Yeah. It would be like, well, oh yeah, that's in the KY jelly section, but you can't use KY jelly because it's
Not the same material.
Yeah, it has to work as a mechanical lubricant and a sex lubricant at the same time. In
So
order
motor
for
oil.
it, yeah, practically, but it would have to be
Coconut
like synthetic
oil?
only.
Coconut oil is probably safe.
It's got to smell good, right? Like imagine if robot fucking like blowjob spit smelled like fucking like hand lotion. Or what if it just was hand lotion, like jerk off lotion?
There's a specific type of.
Do robot sex dolls queef?
Yes.
I got so many questions.
I think they do.
Do you think it sounds like a backfire in a fucking car? Or does it sound
I
like a
hope
human
not. I
a
hope
human
not. 'Cause
a
if
human
it does,
fluffer?
just it's funny because they're gonna be complaining in like 5 years that people aren't reproducing anymore because it's too expensive to have kids and everyone's fucking robots.
5 years, dude, that's happening now, dude. That's happening now. People aren't having kids for a multitude of reasons, and just the convenience of instant gratification is probably one of the things, I think, in Western society. It's definitely not true in the rest of the world because populations are growing in other countries
I mean,
at an exponential rate.
Good night, Beth. Take it easy. Thanks for coming by as usual.
Later,
We
Beth.
appreciate it. Have a good night. But I think it's happening all over the world because I mean I saw a video of a guy in China who married a sex bot and was like a sex doll.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
he
like-
must be in the upper echelon of the caste system or something like that. Because if you're talking about like peasant China, I doubt that that's true. Because they also lifted that like one child rule because they realized that it would be at a detriment to them taking over the world. In Japan, I think the birth rates are going down. In the United States, that's true. I feel like in most of Western Europe, that's true. I don't think that's true in South America, and I don't think that's true in Africa, and I don't think that's true in Southeast Asia and India and South Asia. I believe that's probably true in most like like developed nations, but I feel like that could be a trend that changes also. Like,
It could.
that could
Hopefully.
be something that could change.
Elon Musk said he was doing his part, right?
That's what I'm saying. He's not the only one who sort of feels that way too. So, who knows? I mean, I feel like it's more of a city thing. I believe when you're in rural areas and it's cheaper to have a family, that's not true. People still having 3 kids. Hey, you gonna go to Russia and sell that sausage? Yeah, man. But on that note, I guess we're gonna be having dreams about sex bots tonight.
Yep. Thanks for
man.
watching the Dumbfounded Dipshits podcast. Check us out Wednesday nights at 9:10 usually. Sometimes it's Sundays, but most times
I was late today because of a prior
most of the times
engagement.
it's
I'm sorry,
Wednesdays, but
dipshits.
yeah, that shit happens.
Yeah.
I actually took a nap before I came here. I went down at like 7:45 to like 9:10. Nice nap.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
man.
don't forget to like, subscribe. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on
All
Twitter.
the socials.
We're on
Twitter.
everything.
All the socials.
And our main YouTube page is the Dumbfounded Dipshits podcast on YouTube.
If you see us on Tinder, swipe right. If you see us on Grindr, don't tell anybody.
Wow. I'm ending on that right now.